It's a problem.
I'd like to call the meeting to order. If everyone would please rise. Councilmember Hannafin is going to lead us in the invocation, followed by the pledge.
All right. Please bow. Dear God, thank you for this day, Lord. Thank you for all the blessings you bestowed upon us. Thank you for this town, Lord, and all the individuals in it. We thank you for bringing us all together here tonight. I pray for peace and protection in this town. I pray that as a council we can serve the citizens of this town to the best of our abilities and always put you first, Lord. I pray that as a town we can stand together and come together for the betterment of this town. In Jesus, in your holy name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Are there any additions, deletions, or changes that need to be made to tonight's agenda?
I have one.
Certainly.
I think in January, probably we talked about putting up cameras. We talked about paywall, and we did that to be a little bit more transparent. In hindsight, I think it's time to look at the paywall and some specifics around that as far as the requesting documents.
Okay.
That's going to be item D under new business. Public records request policy, we can call it. Item D under new business.
Yeah, I have something I would like to add as well. I would also like, I know we've been talking about it, but the live streaming, I'd like to discuss that.
Okay.
Just add that under
So
item
that's
E.
E,
E new business is
okay.
town live streaming.
Mhm.
Policy. Okay. Those two items, right? Thank you.
I have two items. The first is, I think we could probably piggyback that one on Lime Street, but I'd like to call for a decision on whether we hire a part-time employee or seek a volunteer for the meeting videographer. I do have a job description. Unfortunately, in my haste to get here, I didn't print them out, but I can pass around the phone for everybody to take a look at it. But if we do, we can create the job description and advertisement and initiate an open application process to seek a qualified candidate.
I'm sorry, I can't remember for what, videography?
For a
Is that what-
videographer.
Okay.
We're just going to add that on.
We
Attach
can,
it to item
Yeah,
E.
amend E.
I mean D, okay.
So attach that to E.
Town
With live streaming.
Mm-hmm.
And then for item F would be, or would this be item F?
Yes.
Yeah, F. I'd like to add a new business vote to have a public hearing regarding the town's personnel policy at the June 2026 town council meeting.
June the 1st, you said?
I'm sorry?
Did you say June the 1st?
June the 1st, that's the
Okay.
next meeting.
Yes. Okay, is there anything else? Or do I have a motion to approve tonight's agenda as amended?
I'll motion.
Councilmember Kelly made the motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Councilmember Sweeney made the second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, moving on to item 3A. Do I have a motion to approve the regular council meeting minutes from April the 6th, 2026?
I have two corrections I'd like to make to the minutes.
Okay.
The first is under new business item G. It says manager Denton noted the town's strong financial position and potential grant funding availability. The order of sentences implied that this occurred prior to the vote, and the sentence should be after the vote. After where it says motion, Councilmember Kelly moved to approve the overhead downtown lighting project phase 1 to install poles and lighting with an expenditure of up to $37,000. Councilmember Helm seconded. Motion carried with one opposed. Councilmember Sweeney 4-1. It should either be that manager Denton noted the town's strong financial position and potential grant funding ability should be after the motion or not at all. And the second item is under the town manager's report, it should be noted that the town manager declined to include one council member in multiple informational emails to the rest of council. This is not the reports, or the minutes say that it was a decision to adjust accuracy And it was not that, his exact words were, there were 2 instances of email communication where not all council members were included. This was a deliberate administrative decision.
Mayor, I disagree with that. It was an administrative decision.
But that's not what you said, sir.
It was a deliberate administrative decision.
Okay, and that's what I'm saying that the minutes should be corrected to. The minutes currently say decision to adjust accuracy.
That should be included as well. To ensure accuracy from misinformation, from council members stating misinformation publicly. So I think that portion is correct.
All right, so Ogle will,
Well, he's stating, unless there's a motion.
okay. Well, do I have a motion to approve the regular council meeting minutes?
The regular ones?
Mm-hmm, the ones we had, or
Yes, I'll motion that.
And I'll second that motion.
Councilmember Helms made the motion, Ms. Kelly made the second.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
I'm sorry, the minutes as presented originally, or the
Mhm.
corrections?
As presented. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Nay.
Okay.
That's 4 in favor and 1 against.
All right, we're gonna move on to item 4, public comments. Citizens may address any topic, must state your full name and address before speaking, and you're limited to 3 minutes. Madam Clerk, did we have anyone to sign up?
I have no one signed up.
Thank you. Now we'll move to item 5, public hearing, consideration of an ordinance approving voluntary annexation of parcel 37,000. Council will now enter into a public hearing, but before we begin, I'd like to go over a few rules of engagement. Following staff presentation, the council will recognize any resident wishing to speak on this matter. Citizens must state their full name and address prior to speaking, and this speech is limited to 3 minutes per person. Following the citizens' input, council will hold discussions, which a vote will follow. Do I have a motion to enter into a public hearing?
I'll make that motion.
Councilmember Hannafin made the motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Councilmember Sweeney made a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? At this time, I'd like to ask Director Penley to give us a brief overview.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. The voluntary annexation request presented to council tonight is for property located in the 1000 block of Highway 27 South. It's parcel ID 307000, and is currently owned by Craig Realty and Development Company, which includes a parcel consisting of approximately 23.76 acres. The current zoning for this property is the M1 Manufacturing and Industrial Zoning District, with M1 Manufacturing and Industrial, R8 Single Family Residential, and the R20 Single Family Residential zoning districts abutting the subject property. It adjoins a residential subdivision to the north and west, with a proposed commercial site immediately south and east, and an industrial site to the south and east as well. If approved, this parcel would retain its existing zoning designation of M1, and along with any and all regulations that are applicable for that zoning district. The owner, the applicant, has met the statutory requirements for a voluntary annexation, and if approved, is prepared and ready for recordation at the earliest opportunity. I would like to also point out, as just a matter of clarification, because I've received some inquiries, that this property is not associated with the new Tractor Supply store. Tractor Supply does have a approved zoning permit and is moving forward with building permits with Gaston County for a parcel that abuts this one. We're happy to announce that Tractor Supply will be located on the parcel just south of this subject site on parcel 198561, which is already located inside the town of Stanley and is already zoned appropriately for that store. So we're happy to welcome Tractor Supply, but I did want to clarify that this annexation is not part of that development of that property. This does conclude staff presentation. A representative for the applicant and the owner is present, should you have any questions for him. And that concludes my presentation, Madam Mayor, if y'all have any questions.
Anybody have any questions for Director Finley? Are there any residents in attendance that'd like to speak on this subject? If not, do I have a motion to close the public hearing?
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Councilman Hannaford made the second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Is there any discussion or questions for from the council? Do I have a motion to approve the ordinance approving voluntary annexation of partial 307,000? Do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Councilmember Sweeney made the motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Councilmember Helms made the second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, now we'll move to item 5B, consideration of a zoning map change for parcel 133330 located at 712 North Main Street from the CB Central Business Zoning District to a GB General Business Zoning District. The applicant is the local union number 5285. Council will now enter into a public hearing for item 5B with the same rules as applied to the previous application. Do I have a motion to enter into the public hearing?
I'll motion.
Councilmember Kelly made the motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Councilmember Helms made the second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ms. Penley?
Thank you. The zoning map change request presented tonight is for the property as mentioned, located in the 700 block of North Main Street, parcel ID 133330, which is owned by the local union number 5285, which includes a parcel consisting of approximately 1.61 acres. If council could refer to the maps provided in your agenda, you'll notice that the current zoning for this property is CB or Central Business, and it's surrounded or abuts immediately the M1 Manufacturing and Industrial, the GB General Business, and the R20 Single Family Residential 20,000 square feet zoning districts. It adjoins a residential structure to the north and west with some commercial businesses abutting the southeast. This one kind of puzzled me when this request came up. The applicant also owns the parcel that is adjacent to this one that has road frontage and is currently zoned general business. So obviously they would like to rezone this portion to make their zoning consistent and make this a viable, singularly zoned piece of property for development. I could not locate any reason whatsoever why we have spot zoning right there in the middle of an otherwise transition from business or commercial to residential. We've got our central business district kind of thrown up there where it's not really located near the central business district. So in staff's opinion, this is more of a zoning map cleanup, because I do believe this was an error in the original zoning map that was presented for adoption with your zoning ordinance at that time. The planning board met on March 16th and did recommend approval of the request based on its consistency with the comprehensive land use plan. Staff supports the proposed zoning map amendment as well. This does conclude my presentation. If council has any questions or concerns, I'm happy to assist. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any residents in attendance that would like to speak on this matter? If not, do I have a motion to close the public hearing?
Make a motion.
Councilmember Ms. Kelly made the motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Councilmember Sweeney made the second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Do I have a motion to close the public hearing? Oh, no, I did that, didn't I? I'm sorry. Is there any discussion from the council? Any questions for Director Penley? All right, do I have a motion to approve the zoning map change request for parcel 3330 located at 712 North Main Street from the CB Central Business Zoning District to the GB General Business Zoning District.
I make that motion.
Councilmember Miss Kelly made the motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Councilmember Hamilton made the second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Madam Mayor, we also need a motion that the zoning change is consistency, part of the motion. We need to add that the zoning change would be consistent with the comprehensive land use plan and compatible with surrounding zoning surrounding properties.
Actually, the consistency, statement that was approved by the planning board, and I thought what had been provided in your report consists that the proposed rezoning is in the commercial center community type and abutting the commercial center community type within the future land use plan. These areas are described as land supporting the daily economic, entertainment, and community needs of surrounding neighborhoods. The use going from the central business zoning district to the general business zoning district will not cause a significant change in zoning districts, yet allow for improved development options while supporting the daily economic, entertainment, and community needs of surrounding neighborhoods. Madam Mayor, I would probably recommend that you revise maybe the motion to approve and include the consistency statement as prepared by the planning board.
I think you can also have a secondary motion too, that there's a consistency statement and adopt the.
Correct, and then moving forward, make sure that we point that out in the future. But it would be appropriate for you to make a secondary motion, as council has advised, to also approve or accept the consistency statement with the comprehensive land use plan as provided by the planning board.
Okay, so do I have a motion to accept the
Consistency statement.
consistency statement
With the land use plan.
with the land use plan that the zoning board approved?
Yes, the planning board approved
I'll
with the
motion.
recommendation.
Councilmember Kelly made the motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Councilmember Miss Kelly made the second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Oh, yes, I did.
I know.
I was ready for that.
Okay, now we'll move to item 5C, consideration of the zoning text for Article 12, table of permitted and special uses. The applicant is the Town of Stanley Planning Board. Council will now enter into a public hearing for item 5C with the same rules applied and stated as the previous application. Do I have a motion to enter the public hearing?
I'll make that motion.
Councilmember Sweeney made the motion. Do I have a second?
I'll motion.
Councilmember Kelly made the second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? At this time, Director Penley, would you give us a brief overview?
Thank you.
Thank you.
The applicant in this application for the proposed text amendments is the planning board. The amendment request presented tonight is related to some changes to Article 7, table of permitted and special uses, more specifically the addition of auction house as a by right use within the central business zoning district. Provided in your packet was a grab of the special use table, which currently shows you the auction house as a use. It should be this sheet right here. Shows the auction house as a use, the zoning districts it's allowed in, and what they're asking to modify is that you add it as a use by right in the central business zoning district. It does have regulations associated with this use, which include, if I may, and these were already in place or established in our ordinance, so we did not need to make any additional changes. But for an auction house, in the M1 zoning district, if all principal and accessory structures for the use exceed 25,000 square feet in gross floor area, then a special use permit is required. So it addresses the size. And then also item B, which is of particular concern to a lot of folks, an auction house with animals. So the sale of any animals is, number one, only allowed in the M1 industrial zoning district. And if someone pursues that option, they would also have to get a special use permit. So to clarify, if approved, this would allow for the auction house to be used by right in the central business district. However, it would disclude them from being able to pursue the sale of any type of animals. And the planning board met on March 16th, 2026, and recommended approval based upon the following consistency statement. The text amendments would align with other local jurisdictions and competitively support local growth and economic development, which is consistent with the town's goals and objectives as outlined in the comprehensive land use plan. Staff also supports the approval of the proposed changes. And this concludes staff's presentation. I would maybe recommend that if you have a motion to approve, that you also state in that motion that you would include the same consistency statement as the planning board. And likewise, if you have a motion to disapprove, that you would alternatively state opposition to the consistency statement provided. That way we can kind of cover it.
Hey, Miss Sarah, so are they just going through this and just checking on certain texts in there that they need to update, and or
So
is there something going
What
on?
happens with our why we get these random text amendments?
Yeah.
And to kind of address it, the ordinance was prepared by Central Line many years ago, and a lot of these uses are outdated. A lot of these uses are not in alignment with other jurisdictions in our area, which kind of leaves us the inability to compete with other places. We've got a lot of investment properties throughout town, so when these folks call and they can't, do a use, sometimes we'll do some research, check in and see if other jurisdictions allow this particular use in that space. And if so, we do our due diligence and research, and if favorable, we consult with management as well. If we think it's favorable, then we'll move forward with a text amendment when appropriate. But hopefully this will stop if and when we're able to do a complete rewrite of the zoning ordinance.
I know, I was
And
like,
then we
we
can
can do
address, I know since we've been here, we've done a lot of text amendments.
Yeah.
This is just another Band-Aid, but we hope to address all of that, and you shouldn't have any more text amendments for a long, long time if we can get the zoning ordinance approved.
Oh, it's fine. It just doesn't
Yeah.
seem like it's super efficient for you, but
Yeah.
it's fine.
Well, it's not me that minds it so much, but it's difficult to have to tell an applicant, well,
Yeah.
I understand Belmont lets you do it.
Okay.
We'd love to have you, but we have to do some cleanup first.
Okay.
If that helps.
Yeah, the zoning ordinance is not necessarily meant to be static. I mean, things change, uses change, new businesses are created and come to town, and so sometimes they don't fit neatly into the definitions or into the table of permitted uses. So it's very common in municipalities to have to come before a board and propose tweaks. Ultimately, it's up to the planning board to make a recommendation and council as to whether or not that's approved. But you'll see if you went online, for example, in Gastonia, and they list their amendments, and they're a dozen or more going back the last couple of years. So it's not unusual to have that. I think as Sarah said, this ordinance was adopted in 2021 or something.
Yeah, 2021 or
So
2022.
it's kind of part of the job of the planning department and the planning board to consider changes when appropriate and make recommendations to the board.
Yeah. That's good. Thank you.
Thanks, Sarah. Are there any residents in attendance wishing to speak on this matter? Yes, ma'am.
So my name is Carrie Lanning, 107 General Joseph Wheeler Street. I would suggest if you approve this as a text amendment, that you add auction house under your definitions. So if auction house is going to be a specific use, then there should be a definition that accompanies that specific use.
So we already have that as a specific use, right, Miss Sarah?
It is defined in our ordinance. It's not available online. So that's why she doesn't see it, but it is available in our current ordinance. That happened in the, because that was another problem that we found. We have a use table
Okay.
where the uses are not defined. And likewise, we had uses that were not listed in our use table. So we did a big sweep of those. That was a big edit about, he was still the mayor. It was about the first year or so that I was here. So auction house is included in our definitions. I can forward that information to you tomorrow if you'd like to see it.
But
But
that's
it
not,
is defined.
but that's not being changed or anything.
No, the definition of auction house has not changed.
Okay.
So if the current ordinance is not uploaded, you might want to think about uploading the current ordinance with
To
the
combine.
amendments.
Mhm. That's a good idea.
Does the council have any discussion or questions?
No.
If not, do I have a motion to approve the zoning text amendments to Article 12, Table of Permit and Special Use, inconsistent with the consistency statement as the planning board presented? Do I have a motion?
I'll motion that, maybe if we could, upload that, definition there, if that's possible.
It's not that, it's just the definition, it's the entire ordinance and all the
Okay.
revisions since then. That's something that we've been working on.
Gotcha. Okay, I'll motion that.
All right. Councilmember Helms made the motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Councilmember Hamilton made the second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Sarah.
Next item is old business 6A, the review of applicant appointments for the ABC board. Manager Denton, could you provide the council with the summary, please?
Sure, thank you, Madam Mayor. You've all received the applicants for the ABC board. We've got 13 applicants, all look like very well qualified people. So it'd just be up to the council, you know, how many you want to appoint, who you want to appoint, and then someone just make a motion for those appointees.
If I may, I know that we had thought about 5, we advertised for 3, and then we got 13 applicants, which was more than I thought we would get. And when you consider like launching a store, when we have 13 really qualified, great applicants, I think it makes sense to move to a 5-person board, at least for the first terms, to give us a chance to bring in a larger pool of talented people who are motivated to work on this project. As such, I did send an email with 6, but people that I think would fit. If you don't mind, I can read off who I think. Gerald Mashall and Jeremy Risha reached out very early, and they were very motivated to do this. You've obviously heard from Mr. Mashall in front of this body previously and his opinion on this. Victor Sheets, if you don't know him, he's been around for a long time. There's a lot of people. He's very adept in the business community. I think he would be a great asset to have on the board. Mr. Dimmer is with us tonight, obviously builds a lot of homes in this town, so if we were looking to remodel a current location or build out another location, I think he would be extremely qualified to weigh in on that, so we'd love to have him on the board. Lastly, Joshua Pendergraft, who's on Planning and Board of Adjustments today, or Jason Fink would be my 5th. Any questions there for me? Or dissent?
Any questions?
I've got 4 that I really love. The 5th would be Jason Fink or Joshua Pendergraft.
Yeah. And I agree with
Question.
your email.
As a policy, shouldn't we go through the list and vote them? Or are we just shouting out names?
It's up
We-
to the council to decide how you want to review.
We can go one by one.
Make nominations.
I'm good with whatever the council wants to do.
Well, you had
Y'all
sent us an
vote.
email, the names that you were interested in, and we all like, you know,
We had the applications to look at.
right, and we've had the applications to look at, so if you wanna make a motion with all 5,
I have 4. I think Mr. Pendergraft would be great. I've been told by others, I don't know, Mr. Fink. I think my understanding is he runs like
He's a business owner.
what does he do?
I'm not exactly sure. I just looked through his resume. He seems like he's run the business.
I think he
around
runs
here
some
for a
sort of
while.
like grocery store, and it's good
Yeah, it's
with,
like stocking and stuff of that nature.
so I try to take into account a wide variety of skill sets. Is there a preference on the 5th?
No, I probably would have done Josh Pendergraft.
Okay. Then I would say, and we can maybe motion here, Mr. Mashall, Mr. Risha, Mr. Sheets, Mr. Dimmer, and Mr. Pendergraft.
That's the motion, correct?
Yes.
for
Okay.
the 5. All right, Councilmember Kelly made the motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Councilmember Miss Kelly made the second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Nay. I'm sorry, I don't approve of all 5, so.
You could have gladly argued with me. That's
Well,
what
I
we
was
do.
gonna make a motion for somebody else.
Put them forward.
It's
Respond to
four,
my email.
it's 4 in favor, 1 against.
Mhm. Madam Clerk, will you notify the applicants that we will swear them in at the June 1st meeting?
Yes.
Thank you, ma'am.
That's one question. I believe the state statute sets out like there's an initial term for certain
Yes.
numbers. That's not part of the motion. Is that something that you want to take up tonight?
If we wanted to take it up tonight, I'd be glad to do it.
Okay.
I think I'd laid this out previously when we were looking at a 3-person board. And I think the way it needs to be staggered is it's 1, 2, and 3.
If I'm not mistaken, that way every year
Okay.
before, everybody would go off and then.
Yeah.
Then in that case, just based on how I stack ranked them to add to that, do I make a second motion to clarify?
You can now make a motion to appoint the length of term,
Okay.
so you now have the numbers.
And if I'm not mistaken, Mr. Rusk, we also need to name a chair as well for that board.
That's possible. Actually, I'm not sure. I shouldn't say. I'd have to look at that, whether that's something the council does or whether the board itself. I'm not sure.
Okay. If I'm not mistaken, I thought the council, if we wanted to, we could wait till the next meeting to appoint the term to see if it's up to the council, of
You could
course.
do that. You could put it back onto the terms and whether or not.
Whether or not a chair would be,
Okay.
appointed at that time.
So we can push the terms to the next meeting?
Correct, if the council agrees.
Thank you.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. And then myself and Mr. Russell will research and have an answer to you.
Thank you.
Okay, now we'll move to item 6B, the adoption of the quarterly newsletter advertising policy. Manager Denton, would you give us an overview, please?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. As you recall, I met with Mr. Demmer regarding the advertising of small business throughout the town. We came up with the idea of putting together a quarterly newsletter that we presented to the board. I think it's a great idea to promote small business. If you look at the policy that's been presented to you, the cost is $500 and change. So I think if the council approves, we can start this probably in the June mailer and then just go on a quarterly basis from that point. If we have one small business that can advertise, the cost will be the full amount, the $500 and change. If there's 2, it's going to be that number divided by 2. We can go up to 4, so there'll be that number divided by 4. The more business you have, the less the cost is going to be. It would be no expense to the town with all the small business that's looking at advertise. And so we just need some type of structure in the form of a policy to go by that we can reference.
If I may,
Yes.
is that a nominal fee or is that a third-party service that's doing this for us, how we got to 500?
Yeah, that's a third-party service that we
Okay,
contract.
so we have to pay the 500. and
Correct.
That's why we stagger the cost
Mhm.
based
If
on
it is
how we
special.
decide. Cool.
Did any of the council have any other questions or comments?
Are you just planning on just putting them in our mailers, our weekly?
Correct, that was the
mailers?
idea, of putting in with the water bill.
And it'll be quarterly.
It'll be on a quarterly basis.
Mhm.
Yeah, cool. Thanks.
Okay, do I have a motion to approve the quarterly newsletter advertising policy?
I'll make that motion.
Councilmember Sweeney made the motion. Do I have a second?
A motion.
Councilmember Kelly made the second. All in favor say aye. Any opposed? We'll move to new business. Item 7A, the approval of the 2025-26 fiscal year audit contract with RH CPAs PLLC. Manager Denton?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. So this is the firm that's been handling our audits for the past few years, just a standard annual contract that we have to go under. We've agreed upon the price, it's been negotiated, so they've done a great job in the past, and this is just, again, the standard contract to allow them to audit for the previous fiscal year.
Does the council have any questions or discussion? Do I have a motion to approve the 2025-2026 fiscal year audit contract with RH CPAs PLLC?
Motion.
It's a tongue twister.
What?
Councilmember Helms made the motion. Do I have a second? Councilmember Hannafin made the second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, we'll move to item 7B, the approval of the resolution to allow the town attorney to pursue litigation for the PFLOS matters. Manager Denton, could you please give us an overview?
Sure, thank you, Mayor. So this resolution authorizes the town of Stanley to participate as a plaintiff in ongoing federal litigation related to PFAS contamination. PFAS is an acronym for a word I can't pronounce, but,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. So PFAS is a harmful persistent chemicals that have been detected in water systems nationwide, may impact the town's Stanley water supply. So by joining in the lawsuit, the town seeks to hold the manufacturers accountable and recover costs associated with testing, treatment, the potential remediation of PFAS. The resolution also authorizes myself and the attorney to take necessary legal actions and direct staff to support those efforts. Mr. Russell, anything you want to add to that?
One thing I want to say is that the water agreement that the town reached with Mount Holly, that was approved last year, where town of Stanley drinking water is supplied by Mount Holly, town of Stanley is a customer of Mount Holly. That requires Mount Holly to provide water to Stanley that meets the Federal Safe Drinking Act and all North Carolina Department of Environmental Quality standards. So if there's never been a report of problems or contamination or that the water is unsafe. If there were, the first step would be going to Mount Holly and working with Mount Holly to make sure that the water is coming in is safe. But in spite of that, there's been a lot of development at the federal level with EPA increasing regulation and for testing and monitoring for PFAS in public drinking waters, as the manager said. There were some standards that were put in place in 2023 and 24 for increased monitoring and testing, and some emerging technologies indicates that you may be able to remove some chemicals from the water. There's been a change with the change in administration. There's some change in EPA as to how strictly that's going to be enforced. But from the town standpoint, it's hard to tell from year to year or from the future what may be required, what the cost will be, and allowing the town to proceed forward keeps the town eligible for reimbursement if that would be needed in the future. So there's not, I guess I would just say, based on what's been provided to us and what our understanding and also working with the Public Works Department, there's no indication right now that there's any safety issues or safety problems, but it's more of a future eligibility protection, which is what the lawsuit is about.
Is there any discussion or questions from the council? Do I have a motion to approve the resolution to allow the town attorney to pursue litigation for PFAS matters?
I'll make a motion.
Councilmember Miss Kelly made the motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Councilmember Hannaford made the second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Next item is 7C, a call for a public hearing on June the 1st to adopt the budget for the fiscal year 2026-2027. Manager Denton?
Sure. Thank you, Madam Mayor. I think the town has presented a great budget, is in the works to present a great budget to the council. Kudos to our department heads who've done an excellent job at keeping the costs as low as they possibly can. We've seen it across the state, with COLA adjustments, with the insurance costs. You've seen it, costs continue to rise, benefits continue to decrease. So they've done an excellent job at keeping their budgets intact. So we're in the final processes of putting that budget together for you for presentation. We had a great workshop that we went through. We'll have everything to you here shortly. I know there's some information that some of you asked for. We're working as hard as we can to get that information to you. But I think we have an excellent budget. We're keeping the tax rate as is. I know some municipalities are looking to increase theirs. We're not doing that. And thank you all to the council for keeping tax rates flat this year.
Well, good. Thank you for all your work and all of our department heads. Appreciate it.
Yeah, they did an excellent job.
Did anyone have any questions or discussions from council?
I would like to make a request for my own poor eyes. When we're putting them out, when we're putting out the budget proposal in the next coming months, could we export the whole PDF instead of, it looks like, I might be wrong about how it's done, but it looks like it's printed out and then scanned through. And the last couple of years, it's made it hard to read and it's unsearchable as a PDF. And if we just export the whole document, it would be a lot easier for everybody.
I'll see what we can do.
Do I have a motion to approve the call for a public hearing on June the 1st to adopt the budget fiscal year 2026-27?
I'll make that motion.
Councilmember Sweeney made the motion. Do I have a second? Councilmember Helms made the second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Now we'll move to item 7D, review the public records policy. Councilmember Kelly, would you like to elaborate on that?
Yeah, I think many months ago, I said, you know what, I'd like for us to be a little bit more transparent government. I think I started with, I would like to have cameras streaming these meetings, put up there. I recommended here as well, so we can all see you as well. I know that government moves slow. It moves way too slow for me. We're in March. I've got 48 months of this. We've wasted 6 months on the camera situation. We got Mr. Russell here, a distinguished attorney, and I think I'm getting the back of his head on this camera. Bad angle of me. Y'all are not included. Needless to say, I would love to address that. I'm glad you want to tonight, but I digress. The public records policy was a piece of being more transparent. You can snip this out of the recording because I don't want my wife to hear it, but I'll say, I guess I was wrong. And that was to say, many months ago, that we would take down the paywall for public records requests because we wanted people to have better access to documents. And I said, hey, after 90 days, 90 to 120, I'd be happy to review it and see if it makes sense to put that back up. I think since then we've had 13 different requests. I wish not to hijack this meeting or to go all day long, but I just want to give you an example of what we're getting. This one came in today. To whom it may concern, I'm a resident of Stanley and I'm ready to submit a formal public records request pursuant to the North Carolina Public Records Law. Over the past several years, Food Line has effectively been the only full-service grocery store serving our town. Given the level of property taxes paid by the residents and the availability of commercial space, I'm seeking transparency into what efforts, if any, have been made to improve access to grocery retail options in Stanley. People, we are trying. I'll just give you an example of what they want here. Point one, any communications starting from January 1, 2020, between the town of Stanley and other grocers, including any potential grocer, any economic development plans on point 2 here, strategic plans or internal reports that reference grocery recruitment. Point 3, records of any incentives offered, discussed, or considered for attracting grocery retailers. Point 4, zoning maps, ordinance, or planning doc. Point 5, records of any feasibility studies, market analysis, or third-party assessment. Point 6, meeting minutes or agenda. I digress. I was naive when I started here, but we have a very small staff. Can you give me an idea since January how many public records requests we're up to? And about, just in your opinion, Ms. McGinnis, how much time and energy goes into that from both your role, others in our local government, and our distinguished town attorney here who has to sometimes review those records?
Yeah, so since January, I would say around 13, yes, if counting. We just received 3 today, and they were that you just read, one of them. Other department heads get involved. Let's say if they're asking for financial records that will go to our finance department, then there are lots of requests that we need to reach out to our IT.
Mm-hmm.
They charge the fee, then it goes to our legal department, to our town attorney, which also his fees are pretty high. Everyone's charges a lot.
But if you want to get a competent attorney, that's the cost.
Yeah, we need help, you know. Many hours are involved and lots of resources, finance.
Yeah, lots of
So, you know,
And Councilman, if you don't mind, I would say this puts a lot of stress not only on our town clerk, our finance director. They have their day-to-day jobs to do. And you're talking about going back 6 years. I mean, we're tearing through, files that, are hard copies. Not a lot of these are scanned in. It's not the push of a button that you can retrieve. And we're spending hours upon hours. We have the IT involved. Like the clerk said, that's $150 an hour. We have to get our town attorney involved.
relegating him to an administrative assistant at this point to review
It's
documents.
a lot.
I think better of you than to do that.
And those costs fall back on the taxpayer.
Can I ask one more question? As it relates to your day-to-day job, and then when a request comes in, just thinking about like what you're supposed to be doing to serve the town in an administrative role and the effect it has on your ability to do that when you are sidetracked by these. what effect that has on your day-to-day and time lost and taking you away from other projects?
Yeah, I just wanna, I don't know, council awares and the citizens. I handle HR department, I do town clerks and matters, and I also do help Belinda with the finance department. Plus, I also website admin, which requires if any changes needs to be done, you know, pages built. So that's a lot. So it really distracts me from my main responsibilities, and it takes away time. So I may fall back with some projects.
Well,
You
and some of
know,
these aren't small
And-
requests either.
no,
Not-
They're
there,
large.
and that's the thing.
Very large.
Some of those are pretty large. It
Yeah.
requires many hours. We got those estimates from IT to fulfill, let's say, to pull some records that goes back a
7
year
years.
or a few years. Their estimate at least 2 hours, so you can calculate the fees.
And we had one request, want to go back to what, 2015?
2015.
And I would, if you don't mind, Councilman, I'd like to hear from our finance director, Ron, not to put you on the spot, but, you know, this is somebody who's barely keeping her head, above water, coming out of a very intense audit, the budget process, and to get records that's 7+ years back, that she has to stop what she's doing. I don't want to speak for you, Director Robinson, but anything you wish to add?
Yeah, on a day-to-day, I'm always putting in AP, paying the bills, payroll, doing all of the monthly bank reconciliations, all of that. And for me to stop everything that I'm doing and pull all this, and some of this I have to look for because I haven't been here. I have to go find the box and whatever. It takes a lot. It takes a lot away from me. It takes a lot away from Olga when she's helping. And it puts us behind. There's a lot of state reports that have to be sent to the state, so it puts me behind on that. So I have to prioritize, and those public records just not on top of the list.
Thank you. Not an interrogation, one more question for you. If we continue down this path, would we have to hire another full-time person to meet the needs of administrative?
Yes, absolutely, and that's something the manager and I discussed. If it continues like that, that's probably something that the council may want to consider, part-time, full-time.
I'd like to think.
I think that that's a good idea. It sounds like Ms. McGinnis is already wearing too many hats, and maybe we should take some of the burden off of her.
We can propose that in a future meeting. I'd like to save the town money. In
I'd
fact,
like to propose it now.
he would like to propose a new administrative position to the town.
Wow, you're talking about adding another cost
What?
to the
Well,
taxpayer.
I mean, if you're proposing charging again for public records, I learned at the School of Government that we can't do that. We actually cannot charge before overtime. So within an 8-hour period, and I had this confirmed with the School of Government, if your job is, part of your job is to look up public records within, say, 9 to 5, that 9 to 5, we cannot pass on to the citizens or to the requester. We have to honor that, but if it's overtime after that 5 o'clock, then we can charge the requester.
I would disagree because that's not their primary responsibility. If that's the case, then other municipalities, are in violation. So, Mr. Russell, I'll defer to you, but I know large other municipalities, and I know Ms. Lanning is with the city of Charlotte, I know they charge, and I think that's $40 an hour if I'm not mistaken. And I think that starts from the minute it comes in, so.
Can I get some clarification from the attorney here?
Yeah, I believe that, I might need to look at that because I'm not sure the context for the School of Government is saying that you can't charge. I believe that the state statute for production of public records does allow charging of reasonable fees when it's directly related to the records.
And mentioned for legal in IT, but I confirmed this several times because I couldn't believe that that was the case, and here we have been charging all along.
Can I ask, are we allowed to charge the IT and or legal fees to the requester? outside of the hourly fees?
You can, a public records request can charge special fees or special
Okay.
fees for.
So looking at 3 different tiers of fees, could we charge an hourly rate after 1 hour? Could we charge them IT fees? And then could we charge special, we'll call them special fees, IT fees and legal fees, which will lump into special fees, like a 3-tiered approach to a request that might, for instance, take someone's 8-hour day to fulfill?
I believe you could.
Okay.
And I recognize that there's some difference of opinion from what
Mhm.
Councilman Sweeney's gotten from the school of government.
Mhm.
I probably, in a perfect world, would go back and research and confirm that for
Mhm.
you, but it's my understanding of reading through the state statutes that you
Okay.
can charge.
To be,
And Mr. Russell, I would say, these 2 employees are salary.
right.
They're not eligible for overtime.
Yeah. So to be clear, Charlotte can charge $40 an hour, and we can also charge special fees, which would encompass legal fees and IT fees, both of which is $150 an hour, and as you mentioned, also very well paid. So I would like the motion to put the paywall up, to start the previous fee structure after 1 hour, and to include special fees that would encompass IT-related or legal fees that would encumber the town.
A second.
Mhm.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
That's 4 in favor, 1 against.
Mhm.
All right, we'll move to item 7E, the town council streaming. Councilmember Miss Kelly, would you like to comment?
Well, I'm like Councilman Kelly, but I know we've been talking about live streaming for months now, and we probably should already have a camera installed. But I thought Josh Pendergraft gave us a reasonable quote.
I agree.
Do you remember what that quote was?
Yeah, I think the one quote was right under 3,100, and he had another option for multiple cameras, I think around 4,000 and change, but I think it's very reasonable. I know Mr. Pendergraft, I know he's a professional, he does good work. I would have no hesitation, in allowing him.
I'd like to make the motion to let, Manager Denton go ahead and pursue this.
Question, what's wrong with the one that we have?
I would like to weigh in.
We could have it now. All it requires is 4 1-inch screws in the drywall. We were told at the last meeting that it is a huge OSHA violation. It is not. I spoke with the Department of Labor. They asked for the code. I asked our
Mayor.
health and, excuse me, I'm speaking, sir.
Okay, go ahead with your interest.
I asked our safety advisor what the code was, because that's what the Department of Labor said. They said, cite the code. She turned around and said, asked Mr. Denton, Mr. Denton, what is the code of the OSHA violation that is forbidding us from putting 4 screws in the wall?
Madam Mayor, so the OSHA violation, I confirmed this with our safety consultant, is that not installing it, but if someone installs it and is injured, so if I have one of our employees to drill 4 holes in a wall, they hit a live line, get electrocuted, that's an OSHA violation, we're liable.
Who's putting a live wire in a stud? Who's gonna put an electrical wire?
And Madam Mayor, they could not know they're hitting a stud and go into something else. It's the chance that it could happen. Accidents do happen. They do. And I would not feel comfortable directing a town employee to put 4 holes in the wall. Why not hire a professional?
That's what I
Sometimes
was
the
saying.
cheapest way is not the best way. We're thinking we're gonna have this camera system in for the longevity of the town. Why not do it the right way? Get a professional to do it
Yeah.
instead of jerry-rigging it and get somebody to drill 4 holes in the wall.
At the last meeting, Mr. Dutton said that we needed somebody licensed, bonded, and insured, and I wonder why he did not get somebody to do that in the last month to put the.
I don't have a camera, Madam Mayor. All
Oh,
I
you
got
have
was
the
a
mouse.
bracket. All I've got was a bracket.
And that's all
that was
you
given
need.
to me. And
That's all that's needed to put in.
I don't have a camera. So the only thing that's been given, and we don't even have a resolution to accept that donation.
If I may, it was 47 is the top quote. For what it's worth, Mr. Pendergraft is a director of AV and has done this at, I believe, like 6 or 7 companies.
Right.
Yes, we're talking about, multinational companies, a pretty talented guy. When we talked about the top quote 2 cameras, there's a reason for that. Y'all have had some crazy meetings in the past before I sat up here. One camera would look this way. When Mr. Dishman gives his report later tonight, right, I get Mr. Dishman on camera. When someone comes up here to speak to us, we get them. So too, they get us. I wanted to install 2 well-working cameras, great audio, with all due respect, and I wanted to immediately host these meetings online on the town website, not on a third-party YouTube platform, on a personal account. That was January when I wanted to do this. With all due respect to all of y'all, there was a lot of delay. I want to move at the speed of business. Some of us want to move at the speed of molasses. I would like to go forward with a quote, put 2 cameras up, and I'd like for this meeting to be hosted in the next couple of weeks online by the town.
Well, and that's the reason I said we should already have a camera up, but I go with Josh Pendergrass.
And I think I could work with
I
Mr.
think
Pendergrass, and I think that, I think he could have it up and running in that time frame. You feel the same, Mr. Pendergrass?
I just want it professionally done.
Sure, I agree, 100%.
And I just want it done.
So I have a motion
Yes, make a motion.
to accept Josh Pendergraft's offer.
So I just want to make here, is this a motion to give me direction to?
Give you
to work
direction,
with
that's
Mr.
what I was
Pendergrass
asking, to give
to
you
install?
direction.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay,
Right.
just so we're clear on the motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Councilmember Kelly made the second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Nay?
That's 4 in favor and 1 against.
Right. We're gonna move to item 7F, personal policy, for the June 1st meeting. Councilman Sweeney?
Yes. So, in the personnel policy that was adopted this past December, there's a number of grammar, spelling, syntax, formatting, document organization issues, inconsistencies, and even errors where part of it just doesn't mesh together. Is conflicting errors. And the town didn't make the document public before the public hearing, and the council received less than 48 hours to go through the entire document. I'd like to vote to hold a public hearing at the June council meeting. We'll all have a month to go through the personnel policy carefully. I don't want to vote quickly on any changes, but I'd like to add a vote on any amendments to the personnel policy, if there are any, at the July 2026 town council meeting.
By the way, could we just run this through Claude, for instance, and clean it up and move on?
I think that'd be,
Because you're like syntax and grammar and like,
Well, as it turns out, there's also incorrect information that was provided to the council and people of Stanley during the public hearing held in December of 2025.
Mayor, can the councilman state what that is?
Well, I'll read the quote. The town clerk says, if the council decides that they want to clarify more in terms of what we spoke earlier than that the council, whoever from the staff wants to run for a seat, this is in regards to section 5(6), political activity restricted, they need to resign after. We can do that, but we also need to be very careful about it. Again, based on the notes we received from HR, our town clerk, it says that the town cannot dictate those rules. Mr. Denton says, that's the First Amendment, that's the First Amendment, and our town clerk says it contradicts the First Amendment. It actually does not.
Madam Clerk, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, the HR I was referring to was the HR, the Department of the HR from the school government.
Okay. But do you still think that it
because-
contradicts the First Amendment?
She was reviewing our policy and she made those revisions. So she was a consultant on this.
From the school board.
From the School of Government. She reviewed hundreds and hundreds of policies of other municipalities. So she's a professional in this matter. If you have any questions, we can send it to her.
Well,
She
Mr.
can
Russell
go
and I
into
discussed
more
this actually, and I'd
details.
like to pass this down. The U.S. Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals said it specifically is not a First Amendment violation. So the information that was brought up at the December meeting is incorrect.
I would trust the knowledge of the school of government representative.
I think we could say that he might be wrong and she might have given an expert opinion that might just be an opinion, but I think at question here is whether somebody who is an administrative employee of the town, should we allow them to run for public office? Is that question?
Well, as part of the issue, there wasn't enough time for a public hearing. The document wasn't out there for public viewing, and even the council didn't have access to it 48 hours before the meeting.
Wouldn't that person have to resign regardless?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
absolutely.
For what it's worth, I'm all in favor of anybody running for public office. It's not fun. If they want to do it, have at it.
This is running for public, this is maintaining the position though while you're a staff member.
I'm sorry.
I'm saying campaigning, that
Yeah, I
is.
know.
Campaigning's
Yeah,
not
I
fun.
know.
If they want to sign up for it, let them sign up for it.
True.
I think it's clear that if an employee wants to run for office, they're allowed to do so.
Right.
But if they win, then they would have to make a
Yes,
decision,
that's
which one they would have to resign from.
Yeah,
Right.
that was my understanding.
Correct.
So
You have
we'll
correct
cover
understanding there.
So I think if you want to change the personnel policy, then the board should give direction to the manager, to then go to the HR director to make the proposed change, come back to you with the change, and then you set the public hearing. So there should be sort of a majority of the board that says, we're not happy with this part of the personnel policy, or we'd like to have the policy cleaned up or something, or give some direction to your staff to do what changes you want, if that's the will of the village board, and then have them come back with those changes made for you all to review, and then you set the public hearing, would typically be the process where.
My resolution was to first hold a public hearing to just discuss the personnel policy as it stands now, not to have any amendments in it for next month, just for the people to be able to read the document, discuss it, come in and discuss it. We work on any amendments that we feel need to be added, and then we bring them up for discussion at the next meeting, at the July meeting.
Well, is that something that they can just request as a public record or anything, possibly?
It's already on the website.
Okay, so we're.
Madam Mayor, and
What I'm just saying is that people could
Excuse me,
discuss
sir.
it, could have it.
Okay.
Madam Mayor, I think I would take our legal counsel advice in that if there's changes you want to see, you would present those to myself. I can discuss it with our HR and we can present those back to the council.
Sounds good.
So do we need a motion on that? Or is that just direction
Yeah,
from him?
If the council, a majority of the council wants a review, whether it's to clean up grammar or syntax, or to make specific changes, for example, the Fifth Circuit case that Mr. Stanley's talking about says that a town, in that case, the city of Dallas could adopt a policy that says our employees can't run for public office. It's not mandatory, not required, but what the court was reviewing is could you do that? So if you wanted to have a policy like that, then you would discuss and give direction to the manager to then work with the HR director to bring back a personnel policy that addresses what the concerns are. And then you review that and set that for public hearing. If the council would like to get input from the community, you can do that at any time. And then you can ask that the members of the community look at policy and email the HR director, email the manager. The town has an open government. People can email at any time to say, here's a concern, and this is like something we'd like to address, or they can email you all if they have. I don't necessarily think that requires a public hearing. It would require a public hearing to change the personnel
Okay.
policy, but the best way to do that is actually have a draft ready for you all to review and then to be debated by the council and members of the public.
I'll have that for June.
You can just send that to me.
Will you answer?
It depends on if it's going to be in a professional matter.
I always do.
I would disagree, but.
Okay, let's move
we'll
on.
move with that.
Let's move on to the department reports. The finance report has been provided. Any questions for Director Robinson? Director Robinson, do you have anything?
No, this time.
Thank you for all your long hours on the budget. I want to say audit, leave that part in. The planning report has been provided. Any questions for Director Penley? Director Penley, do you have anything?
Actually, just a few updates, Madam Mayor and for council. I've received some inquiries, regarding the community charter school application. Just wanted to provide a very brief, update on that. Dave currently has made a special use permit application for property located on North Main Street. That is currently being reviewed by the Board of Adjustment. At their last scheduled hearing, they felt that they did not have enough information to make a decision at that time. So this matter has been, continued to this month's meeting. So they will circle back and continue to review and discuss that application on, May the 18th. So we do not have a decision per se or a more detailed update, per se, other than the application is still pending a decision from the Board of Adjustment, and we expect them to reconvene on the 18th of this month. And I will advise you guys, when they have made a decision. Also, I was not in attendance at the last meeting. My apologies for that. I did receive some calls upon my return, and just wanted to make sure I let council know that I did follow up on those. I received several calls related to the parking at Philo. Just to clarify, and as I clarified to those folks that I spoke to, our policies regarding the food trucks or any other vehicles is the same regardless of who owns the property or who manages the property at this time. The town officially has nothing to do whatsoever with that property as it's private. Regarding the food trucks, they would still go through the same application process that they've been going through, which is to contact whoever owns the property and or that property manager and have them sign off on that application for that food truck when they submit it. We have been a little bit flexible in the past, but with knowing that they have new property management and having that contact information, I haven't received any calls from any food trucks, just people concerned about the food trucks. But, you know, if the food trucks wanting to return or even use the ones that they have now, I would connect them with the updated management company that we've got and make sure that their forms get updated appropriately. But other than that, the town really has no standing or authority over that parking lot. We issue the truck permits just like we would at Napa or any other location in town. And the other items that I received a call about was regarding Plum Street, and I don't even know what those were or where they came from. But other than that, if I could be any further assistance, y'all always know where to find me.
And
yeah, my apologies for not.
Director, if I can ask you a question, Madam Mayor, if you don't mind. That question on Plum Street, was that regarding a tunnel under Plum Street?
It might have been.
And that's what, and I know if, Madam Mayor, if you don't mind, and Director Penley, have you finished?
Yes, I finished.
So I know that Councilman Sweeney may think that we posted is funny, but we already mentioned we have a very limited staff. And
I apologize.
as a council member, excuse me, sir, I'm talking. As a council member, people take what you say at face value. So when you make a post like that, it prompts calls into our already limited staff. And where you may think it's funny, you know, all it does is cause more work for us. And Director Penley has to return those calls and answer those. So again, I'll just caution you, be careful what you post on social media. Also around the Viola parking lot, as Director Penley stated, we received calls asking, okay, I heard that it was, really the issue was with tractor trailers, not cars, so we can park there. Well now, if they park there because we have a councilman that says the issue was with tractor trailers, they get towed, they're probably gonna come back to the town of Stanley and say, well, you had a councilman that said really the issue was with tractor trailers, not with cars. So again, I think you need to be very careful what you state and what you post.
That wasn't quite what I said, and I did explain that they don't want vehicles there, they don't want personal vehicles there, that they will work on it in the future, but for now do not park there. And in my council comments, I'll discuss the conversation that I had with Bilo over the weekend, or with Adholes this past week. And I do apologize, Director Penley, for any Plum Street issues.
The Public Works report has been provided. Any questions for Director Hendricks? Director Hendricks, you have anything?
Effective yesterday, City of Mount Holly issued a mandatory water restrictions, so we do have to follow their water restrictions.
thank you. The recreation report has been provided. Any questions for Director Dishman?
No questions. I just want to say congrats on getting the Rec 1 site up. I think it's going to take a lot of pressure off people as far as signups and things like that. And I look forward to seeing how it works as far as that process. But congrats.
Yeah, thank you.
Director,
I'd like to say I'm also looking forward to that playground.
Yes,
I know my kids are super stoked for that.
that's what, that was one thing I was gonna say, actually, you know, we have to close the playground down for them to do it safety wise, which, you know, I think that we've done a great job. I spoke to the guys today to give a little update. I actually took a couple pictures, you know, you guys can go out there and look. But, they thought it was gonna take about a week, to do just to put the structure up. Well, they got so they brought a crew of 8 guys in today just so we could get it opened up. And they told me that they think that they would have the playground done tomorrow.
oh, great.
Great.
We're about to open it up. I think Friday we probably can open it up, with the mulch and everything, so, you know, by the weekend, you know, kids can start getting on the playground, so.
Nice, thank you so much.
Yes.
The fire department has been provided. Any questions for Chief Hilton? Chief Hilton, would you like to add anything? The police report has been provided. Any questions for Chief Summey? Chief Summey, you have anything?
I don't have anything.
We'll move on to item 9, manager's report.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. One thing I did want to add was using personal devices or personal email accounts for town-related business. So an associate from our IT department flagged what they consider to be a security risk where a council member, that was Councilman Sweeney, was set up a rule to send town-related business to a personal Gmail account. I would just like to remind the council that using personal email accounts to conduct town business does not make those communications private. Excuse me, sir. I'm talking, please. Thank you. I'll let you. Under North Carolina law, it is the content of a message, not the device or the account used, that determines whether something is a public record. Officials who conduct town business on personal devices create serious legal, ethical, I know you took an ethics class here recently, ethical and operational risks for themselves and the town. Since that time, we've been notified of that from our IT department that we've received several phishing emails in an attempt to access our servers, which Director Hendricks can verify. And again, we caught before any damage was done. The rule was set up, and so I quickly sent that email out to the council, and IT stopped that from happening. That's all I have for this evening.
Okay, we'll move to item 10, council reports and comments. Council have any comments?
Several. First, I spoke to Adholes.
Bless you.
They are working on putting a license agreement together, and any food trucks that are interested, they would like to speak with them, and I can provide that information to any food trucks. I can also give it to Director Penley to field any of that. They are already working on a proto license to one of the food trucks in the area. I've been hearing, speaking of ethics training, I've been hearing a lot of complaints about ethics training and a lot of queries about it. I think we should just put it all to rest, and we can request our own transcripts, and I think we should publicly post them. And I will be the first to do it. I'll request mine as soon as I get home tonight.
What transcripts specifically?
From the School of Government.
The certificate?
Yeah, not just the certificate. You can go on the School of Government site, click request transcript, and it says every time you've taken a class with the
So
School
people
of
will be coming to you about the ethics training
Yeah.
you've been given?
Yeah.
I've never heard anybody talk anything, nobody's ever mentioned that.
I
to me.
completed mine.
I completed mine.
But I figure we can just air it all out. We can request our transcripts. I'll send the link to the council. I spoke with the School of Government about how can I make sure that people know I'm on the up and up, and that we all are. We can just request our transcripts, and I think if we publicly post them, there's no question about where we are, that we're following the state law. And I'm not sure about any sending my emails to personal accounts. I know I did set it up to Thunderbird, which is an application. It works kind of like Outlook. not sending it to another email though, but it was so that I could fulfill the public records request to get all of my emails that was sent to me a couple of weeks ago.
Madam Mayor, is that a town-related server?
And now it's my turn to talk, sir.
I just worried if that's a town-related server or not.
Thunderbird isn't a server.
Okay.
It was using the town server. Everything was the town. It was done the same way that we use Outlook. It was just a different way to access the town server. It's a completely legitimate way to do it.
Well, I think it's
Madam
best
Mayor.
if we keep it all in one place.
From my IT department, this is directly from my IT department, that it was set up to go directly to a Gmail account.
I'm not sure about that then. I've never set it to go to a Gmail account.
That was directly from my IT, and I can get them to set that.
So just, the mayor's in charge of the meeting, it's important for her to recognize speakers and for me to defer to who she's asking to.
Councilman Sweeney, would you like to?
Oh, that's just it. That's how I set it up, and I was able to get all my emails, texts, all social media content in under an hour. And I brought that over to Town Hall, and I believe Mr. Russell should be having that for legal review, if he doesn't already.
Correct.
And I'd appreciate knowing what's redacted from that so that I can release that information too publicly. Sure.
All right, anybody else have any comments or anything to add? Well, I'd like to add something, something that was concerning to me. I'd like to remind the council that our representatives in the General Assembly have been very supportive for the town of Stanley. Through their efforts, we have received millions of dollars in grant funding, and it is extremely important that we maintain a strong working relationship with them. Public statements made by council members that are critical of our representatives can undermine the relationships that we have worked so hard over time. So we please keep in mind that when we please keep this in mind when making public comments.
Yes.
All right.
So, and Madam Mayor, if I could just add to that, if you don't mind. The representatives in the General Assembly, as you've mentioned, have helped the town receive millions and millions and millions of dollars. And to personally attack them on social media is not only disgusting, it is unprofessional and classless. And I think we all know who posted that without calling them out. But to go on social media and do that is an absolute disgrace, and it's a bad look for the town of Stanley.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll leave it at that.
Well, and I'd like to add one thing, if you don't mind.
Please.
Sure.
Even comments, this is where I have issues with social media, period. To make comments of other council members. I don't like that.
I agree.
Or employees.
Employees, or, yeah.
Thank you.
I don't think that's right. I don't think that's ethical. I don't think that's, I mean, if I have done something, come to me, you don't have to put it on social media for everybody to see that Marcia did this, you know. Councilwoman Miss Galley did. I don't think any of us should ever go on social media and put stuff about each other, about our staff, about.
I agree. It's very hurtful.
It is very hurtful, very unprofessional.
I agree completely.
That's
I
just
really
not-
want more millions of dollars back to Stanley.
Yeah, and that's the
Most
part,
important.
and that's the
Oh,
part, Councilman, of
absolutely.
keeping a good working relationship
Yes.
with our representatives, regardless of party affiliation, keeping a good working relationship of our representatives in the General Assembly who did so much to help the town out. We've got more grants probably in the past 7-8 years than we have since this town was incorporated in 1879.
That's wonderful.
So,
That's wonderful.
All right, I'm gonna ask for a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
Councilwoman Hannafin made the motion.
Second, ready to go.
All right, can I have a second?
I'll second.
Councilwoman Miss Kelly made the second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you all for coming out. I appreciate it.